What you resist persists. Carl Jung. Have you ever wondered why some worries never seem to leave no matter how hard you try to push them away? You're not alone. Right now, more than 300 million people around the world are living with anxiety. That's about 1 in every 25 people you meet. In the United States alone, millions of adults struggle with anxiety every year, but only a fraction of those with anxiety ever get help. Why is anxiety so common? Why does it feel like it sneaks up on us even when life seems okay on the outside? Let's look at what's really happening. Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, believed anxiety isn't just a problem to get rid of. He saw anxiety as a signal, a message from deep inside you. He said, we should not try to get rid of a neurosis, but rather to experience what it means, what it has to teach, what its purpose is. So, what is anxiety trying to tell us? First, let's talk about modern life. Every day we face pressures from work, school, family, and even our phones. We're expected to be perfect, to keep up, to never make mistakes. Surveys show that these expectations can make us feel like we're always falling behind, always not good enough. When we expect too much from ourselves, our minds and bodies get stuck in stress mode. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods our system. Our hearts race, our stomachs twist, and our thoughts spin with worry. It's not just adults. Kids and teens feel it too. Even young children can feel anxious when they sense they're not meeting someone's expectations. But where do these expectations come from? Many start in childhood. Think back. Were you ever told to be strong, not to cry, or to always get things right? Maybe you learned that love or approval depended on being good or successful. When our needs for safety, love, or acceptance aren't met as kids, we carry those wounds with us. Sometimes it's obvious, like growing up with parents who were too busy, too critical, or not around at all. Other times it's subtle. Maybe you felt invisible or like you had to hide your feelings to keep the peace. These early experiences shape how we see ourselves. If you grew up feeling unsafe or unloved, you might still feel anxious today, even if you can't explain why. It's like your mind is always on alert, waiting for something bad to happen. This is what Jung meant when he said, what you resist persists. The more you try to push away your fears or ignore your pain, the stronger they become. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The harder you press, the more it wants to pop back up. When we resist our anxiety, we actually feed it. We give it more power. So what's the real root of anxiety? It often hides in our deepest beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I must not make mistakes, or I have to please everyone to be safe. These beliefs were formed when we were young, when our brains were still learning what it means to be loved and accepted. If our needs weren't met, we learned to protect ourselves by worrying, by staying small, or by always trying to be perfect. But this protection comes at a cost. We grow up feeling tense, restless, and afraid to be ourselves. And anxiety becomes a constant companion. It's not your fault, it's not a weakness, it's a pattern, a story your mind learned to keep you safe. But now, you can start to see it for what it is. Anxiety is not the enemy. It's a signal pointing to a need that was never met, a wound that wants to heal. You don't have to fight it. You can learn from it. And that's where the journey begins. Let's talk about the masks we wear every day. Carl Jung called this mask the persona. It's the face you show to the world, the version of you that tries to fit in and be accepted. Maybe at school you act like the funny one, even if you don't feel like laughing. Or at work you pretend to be confident even if you're nervous inside. We all do this. It helps us get along with others. But behind every mask, there's a hidden side. Jung called it the shadow. The shadow is made up of all the parts of yourself you try to hide. It can be things you're ashamed of, like anger or sadness, But it can also be good things like your creativity or your true feelings that you've learned to push down. The more you hide your shadow, the more it tries to get your attention. When you ignore it, it doesn't go away. It just finds new ways to show up. Sometimes it comes out as anxiety or anger or even sudden sadness. Have you ever felt upset for no clear reason? That's often your shadow trying to speak. Here's the tricky part. The more you resist your anxiety, the stronger it gets. It's like trying not to think about a pink elephant. The harder you try, the more it pops into your mind. This is a basic law in psychology. What you suppress, you strengthen. If you push down your worries, they don't disappear. They just build up inside. And then they burst out at the worst times. Sometimes you might even start blaming other people for feelings you can't face yourself. This is called projection, a way your mind tries to protect you from facing your own uncomfortable feelings. For example, if you feel jealous but can't admit it, you might accuse someone else of being jealous instead. It's your mind's way of saying, that feeling isn't mine, it's theirs. But this doesn't solve anything, it just keeps you stuck. Another trap is self-betrayal. This happens when you go against what you truly need or believe just to keep others happy. Maybe you say yes when you want to say no, or you stay quiet when you want to speak up. Over time, this makes you feel lost, anxious, and even angry at yourself. You start to believe you don't matter. And when you betray yourself enough times, you stop trusting your own feelings. You might even start to crave chaos. Some people get so used to stress and drama that calm feels uncomfortable. They jump from one problem to the next, always busy, always in a rush. This is called chaos addiction. It's like your mind gets hooked on the feeling of being in trouble. When things are peaceful, you feel restless, like something's missing. So you create new problems just to feel alive. But this only brings more anxiety and pain. Many people try to cope by avoiding what makes them anxious. Maybe you avoid certain places, people, or even your own thoughts. You might procrastinate, distract yourself with your phone, or use food or alcohol to numb the feelings. At first, avoidance brings relief, but the anxiety always comes back, sometimes even stronger. Surveys show that people who use avoidance as their main coping tool end up feeling more anxious and stressed in the long run. Avoidance teaches your brain that you can't handle hard things. It makes your world smaller and your fears bigger. So what's the way out? First, notice the mask you wear. Ask yourself, is this really me or just a role I'm playing? Then get curious about your shadow. What feelings or needs are you hiding? Remember, everyone has a shadow. It's not bad, it's just part of being human. When you stop fighting your anxiety and start listening to it, you begin to heal. You can learn to be kinder to yourself. You can choose to act in ways that honor your true needs, not just your fears. You can break the cycle of chaos and avoidance. You can start to trust yourself again, and that's the first step toward real freedom. Imagine if your anxiety could talk. Carl Jung believed anxiety isn't your enemy, it's a messenger from deep inside you. It's like a letter from your subconscious asking you to listen instead of fight. What if instead of pushing anxiety away, you got curious about it? Try this. Close your eyes and picture your anxiety as something you can see. Is it a shape, a color, a little creature, or a shadow? Giving it a form makes it less scary and more real. Now talk to it in your mind. Ask, why are you here? Or what do you want me to know? You might not hear words, but you might feel something or see an image. That's your subconscious speaking in its own language. Symbols, feelings, pictures. Anxiety often shows up when something inside you needs attention. Maybe it's a worry you've ignored or a feeling you've pushed down. Jung said the more you resist anxiety, the louder it gets. It's like a smoke alarm that won't stop until you check the batteries. So instead of fighting, try listening. If your anxiety feels like a tight knot, notice it. Name it. This is my anxious knot. Maybe it feels like a storm or a buzzing bee. Just notice it without judging. You can even draw it or write about it. Ask your anxiety, what are you protecting me from? Or what do you need? Sometimes the answer is simple. I'm scared of messing up, or I need a break. Other times it's just a feeling like heaviness or restlessness. That's okay. The important thing is to listen, not to fix right away. Jung taught that your mind speaks in symbols and images, so if you see a locked door, maybe there's something you're not ready to face. If you see a small child, maybe a younger part of you needs comfort. Don't rush the answers. Sometimes just listening makes anxiety shrink a little. When you accept anxiety is here, you stop adding extra fear on top. You can say, I'm feeling anxious right now, and that's okay. Remember, anxiety is not here to hurt you. It's here to help you notice what matters or what needs healing. When you listen, you turn anxiety from a monster into a messenger. You start to understand yourself better, and with practice, you'll notice the message gets clearer. You might even feel a little lighter. That's the power of listening instead of fighting. It's a small step, but it's the beginning of real change. Shadow work is like turning on a light in a dark room inside you. It means looking at the parts of yourself you usually hide, even from yourself. Carl Jung called this hidden side your shadow. Your shadow isn't bad or scary. It's just the parts of you that you pushed away to fit in or feel safe. Maybe you hide your anger, your sadness, or your wild ideas. Sometimes you even hide your talents or dreams because you're afraid they won't be accepted. Shadow work means getting curious about these hidden parts. Why does it matter? Because when you ignore your shadow, it can make you feel anxious, tired, or even angry for no clear reason. But when you start to notice and accept your shadow, you feel more whole, more real, and even more confident. How do you spot your shadow in daily life? Notice when you have a strong reaction to someone. If someone makes you really upset or jealous, ask yourself, is this something I don't like about myself? Or if you admire someone a lot, maybe they show a part of you that you wish you could express. Pay attention to your triggers. If you get angry or sad quickly, your shadow might be trying to get your attention. Your dreams and daydreams are also clues. Sometimes the things you dream about are messages from your shadow. Ask yourself, what part of me is showing up in this dream? The benefits of shadow work are huge. You become more confident because you're not hiding from yourself anymore. You feel more authentic, like you can just be you. You start to feel whole instead of split into good and bad parts. You get along better with others because you understand your own feelings and can accept theirs too. You might even feel more creative because you're not blocking your ideas anymore. So how do you start shadow work? Try journaling. Write down your feelings, especially the ones that surprise you or feel too big. Ask yourself, what triggered this feeling? What does it remind me of? You can also draw, paint, or make music about your feelings. Art lets your shadow speak without words. Try the mirror technique. Look at yourself and talk kindly, even about the parts you usually hide. Have a pretend conversation with your shadow. Ask, why are you here? What do you need? You can even meditate, just sitting quietly and noticing what feelings come up. Research shows that shadow work can help you heal old wounds, reduce anxiety, and feel more at peace with yourself. It helps you break old patterns and understand why you react the way you do. People who do shadow work often say they feel lighter, more creative, and more connected to others. Remember, shadow work isn't about fixing what's wrong with you. It's about accepting all of you, even the parts you used to hide. When you do, you become more whole, more real, and more free. And now you know your anxiety is a message, not a monster. You've met your shadow and listened to what it wants to say. But what do you do next? Awareness is only the first step. Real change happens when you take action. It's like learning to ride a bike. You can read about it, but you have to get on and pedal to really learn. Let's talk about how to turn your new understanding into real-life change. First, you need to change your patterns, not just your thoughts. It's easy to think, I'll just be positive. But your old habits will pull you back unless you act differently. So stop justifying your anxiety. Don't make excuses for why you always worry or avoid things. When you catch yourself saying, "That's just how I am," pause. Instead ask, "What am I really feeling right now?" This helps you break the cycle of blaming yourself or others. Start affirming your worth. Every morning, look in the mirror and say, "I am enough just as I am." You can write it on a sticky note and put it where you'll see it. When anxious thoughts come, remind yourself, "I can handle this. I am safe." Affirmations are like gentle reminders to your brain that you matter. Choose your peace. This means making small choices every day that help you feel calm. Maybe you take a slow walk, breathe deeply, or spend time with someone who makes you feel safe. If a situation makes you anxious, ask, "Is this worth my peace?" If not, it's okay to step back or say no. Choosing peace is a way of caring for yourself. How do you know if you're making progress? Notice the little things. Maybe you speak up when you used to stay quiet. Maybe you feel less tense in your shoulders. Maybe you catch a negative thought and choose a kinder one. Progress is not about being perfect. Some days will be harder than others. If you have a setback, that's okay. It doesn't mean you failed, it just means you're still learning. Celebrate every small win. Every time you listen to yourself instead of running away, you're growing. Remember, healing anxiety isn't just about feeling better, it's about finding purpose and meaning in your life. When you know what matters to you, anxiety has less power. Ask yourself, what do I care about? What do I want to create or share? Let your values guide your choices. When you live with purpose, even hard days feel meaningful. You become the author of your own story, and every day you can choose to write a new page. You've come so far on this journey. You've learned to see your anxiety not as a bully, but as a guide. Now it's time to take back your power. This is called autonomy. It means you get to choose your own path. You are not just a passenger in your life, you are the driver. Every time you listen to your feelings, you become more yourself. This is self-realization, becoming the real you, not just the person others expect. It's a journey, not a race. Some days you'll feel brave, other days you might feel scared again. That's okay. Self-knowledge means understanding your ups and downs. Emotional freedom means you don't have to hide from your feelings anymore. You can feel sad, mad, or worried and still be okay. You can choose what to do next. That's freedom. Now let's make a promise together. Write this down. Today, I choose to listen to myself and honor my feelings. Say it out loud if you can. Let it be your gentle reminder. You are not alone on this journey. Many people are walking this path with you. If you want more support, you can join our community, subscribe, or follow for more tools, stories, and hope. Every step you take matters. Remember Jung's wisdom. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. You are choosing to become someone strong, kind, and whole. You are learning to trust yourself. You are learning to find peace, even on hard days. You are turning anxiety into wisdom. Keep going. Your story is just beginning, and I'm cheering for you every single step.